So yesterday there was a question on, can we take an array of doubles and then typecast the entire array as the wrapper class capital D double? And so it was a little bit confusing at first, but I think I got it worked out. The way it works is that the way you would do it, if you could do it, is like this, right? So we have a double array of type double, primitive data type, and then you take that array and you typecast it as type double, an array of type double, and then you save that in a variable called C. And then eventually, if that did work, you could say C sub 0, and this would represent the three capital D double data type. Right? So, but you can't do that, and the reason why is just because you can't. So Java doesn't allow primitive data types, arrays of primitive data types to be typecasted. To oh, well, I guess you get the picture. So what you can do to get around it is you run a for loop, and then you scroll through every element in the array. You take each individual piece of data, and you typecast it as a capital D double, which you then stick into a double type array, capital D double type array. So you have to do it manually when you're dealing with primitive data types. And so the reason for me that was confusing is because you're able to do it in different situations. So if we had this situation down here, let me go ahead and comment this out, where you have an array of type objects, right? And all these guys are objects. You could typecast the entire array by doing this, right? So to type double, capital D double. So if you have an array of objects, you can typecast it as a subclass by using this syntax here. And then that might lead you to believe that you can do this, where we have double, um, where we have an array of type double, primitive data type, and you take that and you typecast it as type object, and then you take that array of objects and you typecast it as wrapper class double. This won't work. And why won't it work? It won't work for the same reason that this doesn't work, right? Because Java doesn't allow arrays of primitive data types to be typecasted as a whole, the entire array to be typecasted to a different class, right? So since the primitive data type double is not a subclass of object, you cannot do this, right? So it's for the exact same reason. So then again, if you're met with this in a problem or a free response or multiple choice, what you want to do if they're in the same hierarchy, class hierarchy, you can do that. But if they are not, meaning one of them is a primitive data type, you need to run through it in a for loop and do it manually.